What did David Foster Wallace think of the internet? And today we are going to hear Wallace talk at length about the internet and how to create a literary renaissance through the internet, because Wallace always had a very innovative and forward-thinking mind. He predicted FaceTime and all the trouble that was going to cause. But what is interesting about Wallace is that he never really wrote about the internet. And I went to the David Foster Wallace archive in Texas and read, his short story on the internet. But it wasn't that revelatory. And outside of this interview segment that we are going to be reading today, Wallace never did a big piece on it. And you would think with writing an entire novel about entertainment with Infinite Jest, or a novel about boredom with The Pale King, that this would, especially in some of his later essays and works, be kind of a central focus of his life. But for whatever reason, it wasn't. I don't know if he was scared of it, didn't know about it because he was kind of a Luddite, or just felt like it was crowded waters because everyone back in the early 2000s and late 90s was talking about the internet. And if you guys don't already know, my name is Ian, and here on Write Conscious, we talk about David Foster Wallace. In the playlist down below, you will find over 80 videos on Wallace, and that list grows every single week. But enough from me. Let us now hear from Wallace. So it's very soon there's going to be an economic niche opening up for the gatekeepers, or what do you call them? Wells or various nexus, not just of interest, but of quality. And then things are going to get real interesting, and we will beg for those things to be there, because otherwise we're going to spend 95% of our time body surfing through shit that every joker in his basement who's not a pro like you were talking about last night. I tell you, there's no single more interesting time to be alive on planet Earth than in the next 20 years. You're going to get to watch all of human history played out again real quickly. And Wallace, once again, is 100% correct. And it's not like this is an insane prediction, but he understood what the internet should be. Because when you look at the average internet user and browser, they are just sifting through a sea of shit. They're angry, sometimes raging out in the comment section, or they're just wasting a ton of time. But the golden parts of the internet are the wells, are the nexus, are the gatekeepers, because at some level, I am the gatekeeper. I am here to help you dive deeper into writing more conscious literature, or into reading harder books and having a deeper understanding of them, or helping you dive deeper into certain authors. This is a very niche part of the internet where the exiled lit bros come to hang out at the water cooler. But what sucks about this website is you're maybe reading the comment section right now. You're maybe seeing over in the sidebar a bunch of videos that are trying to pull you away from me right now. And already, probably 60% of people who started this video are already gone. And so social media websites have really killed this idea of a literary renaissance or a revolution through the internet, because when you go back to the mid-2000s, everyone was creating their own web pages. When I was in high school, I learned HTML and was messing around with like a meditation website. But that was my space. It was called Savvy Zen. But I had some videos, I had blog posts, and if you wanted to get to know Ian at a deeper level, you went there, and I had my design elements, and I spent so much time making it feel like what I wanted to make it feel like. But I can't do anything outside of creating a thumbnail description, video, and title to change your experience here on YouTube. And even though I've helped a lot of you guys, and I've been helped by countless YouTubers and people on social media platforms, I can only imagine the amount of transformation that could happen off those platforms, because the top 10 people online who have changed my life, every single one of them, it happened on their own personal website. And that's what's really cool about Substack for writers and thinkers, is that if you go to my Substack right now, there's no distractions. You can come down here and, hey, I'm going to read one of Ian's poems right here. And there's nothing here. It looks like a normal website. And yeah, there's a like system and a comment system. But once you are locked into someone's website, you are basically there. But it's an interesting combination, because with the click of a button, I can access everyone who I follow, stuff like my boy Benno. Like, oh crap, Benno just wrote a sick poem, and this one is pretty sick. Autumn dawn, gone the black butterflies, white winds fall on the flowers. And so my idea of a literary renaissance is 50,000 people being gatekeepers for their own area and writing at a very high level. And doing that on a place like Substack is great, because we can function and perform our crusade as a community. But Wallace couldn't foresee, and I don't think anyone could foresee, or they would have done it, how dumb we really are, how convenient we really want things to be. And Wallace should really understand some of this, because he was an addict. He understands dopamine. He went through the AA cycle. He talks about dopamine in Infinite Jest and his other works all of the time. And what's sad is the internet is the new greatest addiction. Within an hour on the internet, I could get a dopamine release from pornography. Then I could go get mad at whatever political candidate I don't like. I could watch a funny video, then I could get educated. And that's just a typical 45 minutes on the internet for an American male. Yeah, and let's be honest. I mean, the porn stuff probably lasted about 1 minute for most of those guys out there, but you start to see it happen. You start to see the incels. You start to see the Reddit bros when they spend too much time on the internet. My precious, yes. And they start getting angry. They start yelling at other people online. And so we've kind of turned this into a very dystopic place, because with the ease of use with social media, we've also opened up the door, and not to gatekeep as a gatekeeper, to this new level of content creators. And I want your guys' opinion on this, because I'm back and forth. If we were going to create an educational awakening, we're going to need more than guys like me, right? Like, maybe I'm off-putting to some people. Maybe you don't like me calling you out every 5 videos for your pornography usage. But what if there was a win-win scenario? What if you could listen to books, listen to a YouTuber talk about books, but they were also a hot female with daddy issues that you could release your mommy issues onto via screen? Would that be a helpful thing or a hurtful thing? Because the next level of content creation is the perfect people, because I am in the booktube world. I am seeing what is going on, and I can tell you guys what's going to happen. There are going to be beautiful women talking about Blood Meridian at like an undergraduate analysis level and tweaking all the simps' brains. There are going to be guys with PhDs who are fronting and showing everyone their authority and credibility, who are going to be pushing stuff onto us. But they appear stronger than they actually are because of the blandness of these platforms, because of the convenience of the platform, because of the wide reach of these platforms. And that gives them power, because if Molly Dookie Head, who needs attention from men online, actually had to create a website, no one would fucking go. If she, we would see her personality on the website and be like, oh shit, I don't want to be here anymore. If we saw Mr. PhD create a website with, the Roman Colosseum pillars on the side of the bar, because that's what he envisions, you would kind of automatically know, like, hey, I don't actually trust this guy. But instead, if you see them with a $5,000 camera with the perfect background and them reading a script, we've hit this level of perfection, not just in the booktube world, but all across the internet, which I think is very, very scary. And it's setting this new standard that is easily exploited by corporations, and is setting an eventual standard that everyone else won't be able to live up to. And then if you deviate too far from that, you're eventually going to be banned from these platforms. And so that's where we're at right now. Kind of the wild west of the internet is closing down because we allowed it to close down. We allowed ourselves to be sucked into the convenience of these apps like YouTube, and not try to build our platform on Substack or a personal website. And I'm trying to double down on stuff outside of YouTube because the medium is the message. And I would say the next level of the literary renaissance is people figuring out how to move past these platforms. Because Wallace was right. We did watch human history play out quickly over the past 20 years. Everything. The internet created opportunities for even people like Obama and obviously Trump. And now with all the campaign ads you're probably seeing before this video, Kamala Harris and whatever your local Senate or House candidate is. And I don't hear enough of us begging for these things to be here. And if they're not there and we're begging for it, then it's up to you guys to create it. And I hate to end this, but if you guys believe in the great work, if you believe that you can create less unnecessary suffering on the earth, if you believe that there is an ability to change the earth at a small level, then you are actually going to have to do something. And most people who say they're going to do something in person never actually do it. They actually don't have the administrative or the organizational skills to get anything going. But over in my free writing school, I've got now hundreds of people to be able to create a Substack, post their writing online, get new readers to read it for the first time. And it's all on a platform that supports writing, that actually relaxes the eye when you read it. And so I'm calling on you guys to not do it today, but to think over the next 3 to 10 years what your impact is going to be online. Because once again, unless you're willing to go crazy in person, it's not going to work. For instance, my sister has always been about in-person stuff. She's hosted events. She's done all types of stuff, hundreds of events in person, and made a big impact and really has helped a lot of people in person. And I've been telling her for years, dude, you got to get with the internet. Dude, you have to get on YouTube. Every single time you do one of these events, once it's done, record yourself saying the same exact thing and post it online. And she's finally started to get online, and she's starting to post and do daily posts. And she's got more momentum in the last 6 months than she did for over a decade of doing in-person events at a decently high level. And so if you want to learn how to do this for free, I have an entire course on how to grow your reading audience over on my free writing school. The link is down in the description below. If you want to be a part of a community that focuses on writing and on reading, that is a good place to start. And if you're not willing to do that, if you just want to resist everything, then I would say as you go out into the world every single day, start to build yourself up, start to build your personality, start to talk to people a little bit more, start to observe a little bit more, because even if you're not going to appear on camera or on audio, you still can write online. You can still make contributions through your writing with less serious work, whether that's nonfiction or poetry or video essays read by an AI voice, whatever it is. We need you here, and hopefully not just on YouTube or the big websites, but also on your own personal platform. And so I think that's what David Foster Wallace envisioned and thought was going to happen. And unfortunately, it's all been consolidated. And 3 million authors right now are being paid on Substack. There are more full-time authors making over 100 grand a year on Substack than all the Big Ten authors Big Ten publishers combined. When you look at all the authors in the world who write novels and books, whether they're nonfiction or fiction, there are more people on Substack making a full-time living off of it than in the book world. And so if you want to invest, then the internet is the place to start putting your voice out in the world. And so thank you guys for being here, and I will see you guys all very soon.